During the Buddha's 49 years of teaching, a thought-provoking dialogue became widely known. One day, the Buddha said to his closest disciple Ananda a perplexing phrase, "I am not the first Buddha." This simple phrase reveals an astonishing secret about the nature of the universe, time, and enlightenment, a truth that remains profoundly striking even today. It was an autumn afternoon when the Buddha walked along a path in the Chiuan Sutra Society with Ananda. Golden sunlight filtered through the gaps in the leaves, casting dappled shadows on the ground. A gentle breeze caresses the air as several golden leaves slowly descend from the tree. The Buddha paused, bent down, and picked up a leaf that had just fallen to the ground. This seemingly ordinary action marked the beginning of a profound philosophical teaching. "Ananda, do you find this leaf beautiful?" The Buddha gently dragged the fallen leaf and asked. Ananda gazed at the golden leaf, its veins clearly visible, emitting a gentle glow under the sunlight. "Yes, blessed one, this leaf is truly beautiful, golden like amber, its veins resembling the patterns of precious brocade. Though it has fallen from the branch, it possesses its own unique beauty." The Buddha smiled gently and nodded, his gaze turning toward the lush canopy overhead. "So, do you think there are more leaves on this tree, or more leaves in my hand?" Ananda looked up at the tree full of green leaves and answered without hesitation, "Of course, there are more leaves on the tree, Bhagwan. There are thousands upon thousands of leaves on the tree, while you hold only one in your hand." The answer to this question is obvious. The Buddha's gaze deepened, and he slowly said, "Ananda, just as the leaves on this tree are countless compared to the single leaf in my hand, the Buddhas who have attained enlightenment in the past are innumerably more than this single leaf in my hand. I am not the first Buddha. Before me, countless Buddhas have attained enlightenment in this world, guiding sentient beings toward awakening." Ananda, upon hearing these words, felt as if struck by lightning and opened his eyes wide in disbelief. He had always believed that Shakyamuni was the first person to discover the truth and the sole teacher who established the Dharma. This new understanding completely overturned his previous conception. "If, true one, as you have said, such is the nature of reality, then why is it that only your teachings have been transmitted in the world, while those of other Buddhas have not? Why have sentient beings never heard the names and teachings of past Buddhas?" Ananda asked urgently, while the Buddha gently placed the fallen leaf back on the ground, his gaze directed into the distance. The Dharma of Ananda experiences rise and decline, while the Buddha manifests in the world and attains nirvana. Just as the four seasons alternate and all beings arise and cease, the Dharma too has its cycles of manifestation and disappearance. Every Buddha who appears in the world teaches the Dharma according to the capacities of sentient beings. However, as time passes, these teachings inevitably fade away with the end of that particular era. This is not because those teachings are not ultimate, but because sentient beings' merits and karmic conditions have their own fruition. When the karmic connection between the sentient beings of an era and a particular Buddha is exhausted, the teachings of that Buddha will disappear from the world. When the conditions ripen once again, a new Buddha will appear, reopening the gate of the true Dharma and guiding sentient beings with karmic affinity toward liberation. Ananda pondered quietly over the Buddha's words, and suddenly a new question arose. "World-honored one, since in the past there have been countless Buddhas, will there also be Buddhas appearing in the future after you?" The Buddha smiled and nodded. "Of course there will be. In a future kalpa, when the time is ripe, Bodhisattva Maitreya will be born into the human world and become the next Buddha following me. Thereafter, countless infinite Buddhas will appear sequentially. The Dharma wheel turns perpetually, never ceasing. This is the law of the universe and the very hope for the liberation of all sentient beings." Ananda's curiosity was fully awakened. "World-honored one, what festival are we observing now? How does this era differ from other eras?" "We are currently in an aeon during which 1,000 Buddhas will appear." The Buddha explained, I am the fourth Tathagata. Before me, there were the Tathagatas Tyanuja, Kagamana, and Kassapa who appeared in the world. After me, countless Buddhas, such as Maitreya, will successively realize enlightenment. Each Buddha has a specific historical context and audience for their teachings, but the truth they realize remains the same. Ananda felt an unprecedented shock or awe. He had thought that the Dharma began with Sakyamuni, unaware that throughout the vast expanse of time and space, countless awakened ones had come and gone, repeatedly igniting the flame of enlightenment. This realization brought about a qualitative leap in his understanding of the Dharma, and his perspective expanded manifold. Ananda, the Buddha, continued, just as a drop of water in the vast ocean does not comprehend the immensity of the whole sea, living beings existing within this fleeting moment of time and space find it equally difficult to fathom the endless expanse of time and space. Dharma neither originates from me nor ends with me. It is an eternal truth, simply rediscovered and proclaimed by Buddhas of different eras. Ananda, pondering deeply, asked again, World-honored one, are the Dharma teachings spoken by the Buddhas of the past completely the same as those you now expound, or are there differences? The Buddha twisted a newly fallen leaf and compared it with the previous one, illustrating that the ultimate meaning of the Dharma is the same, but the way it is taught varies according to the capacities and dispositions of sentient beings. It is like a doctor prescribing different medicines based on the specific ailments of patients, yet the goal of healing remains the same. The Buddhas of the past, present, and future realize the same truth without distinction, yet their methods of teaching and guiding beings may each have their unique characteristics. This is just like the leaves on a tree, diverse in form, but essentially the same in nature. Ananda listened intently, yet remained puzzled. He asked the world-honored one, if there are indeed so many Buddhas filling the past, present, and future, why then do sentient beings continue to wander in samsara, unable to attain liberation? Why does suffering still exist in the world? Have not the teachings of all Buddhas profoundly transformed the world? The Buddha did not respond immediately. Instead, he bent down, picked up the withering fallen leaf once more, and simultaneously plucked a fresh, tender green leaf from the tree. He placed 2 leaves in his palm and showed them to Ananda. Ananda, please carefully observe these 2 leaves. They appear similar, but what are their actual differences? Ananda took the 2 leaves, examined them carefully, and replied, World-honored one, this fallen leaf is already dry and yellowed, its edges curled, whereas this new leaf is fresh, green, full, and vibrant with life. Although they are both leaves, their conditions are completely different. The Buddha nodded, saying, Indeed, that is so. So what causes this difference? Ananda contemplated for a moment, understanding that this leaf had already detached from the branch and lost the life-sustaining nourishment, while the other leaf remained connected to the tree, still receiving its nourishment. One is connected with the origination of life, while the other is already separated. Ananda, you have touched the core. The Buddha's voice became solemn and profound. Sentient beings continue to struggle painfully in samsara precisely because they have severed their connection with their own Buddha nature. It is not the Buddha nature that abandons sentient beings, but rather sentient beings who lose themselves and forget their original true nature. I have just mentioned that countless Buddhas have appeared in the past, but this does not mean that sentient beings can rely on them to attain liberation. Why? Enlightenment must be realized by each individual themselves. The enlightenment of others cannot replace one's own practice. All Buddhas can only point out the path. It is the sentient beings themselves who must walk it. This is why, despite the countless Buddhas manifesting in the world, sentient beings remain trapped in samsara. It is not that the teachings of all Buddhas are ineffective, but that sentient beings have failed to sincerely rely on and practice them, and have not realized their inherent Buddha nature. The Buddha placed 2 leaves in his palm and continued, Ananda, look at these 2 leaves. Although one is fresh and the other withered, is there any difference in their essence? Does the intrinsic nature of their leave change due to differences in external conditions? After deep contemplation, Ananda responded, fundamentally, they're all leaves, essentially no different in nature. Whether withered and yellow or fresh and green, the nature of their leaves remains unchanged. Exactly so, the Buddha smiled and nodded. The difference between sentient beings and the Buddha is like these two leaves. On the surface, the Buddha has attained enlightenment, radiant and complete, while sentient beings remain confused and immersed in the 6 realms of suffering. Essentially, the Buddha and sentient beings share the same nature, without any difference. Every sentient being possesses the same enlightened potential as the Buddha. It is merely temporarily obscured by ignorance and afflictive emotions. The reason I say I am not the first Buddha is to help you understand that enlightenment is not the exclusive possession of any one individual, nor is it a product of any single era. It is the inherent potential in all sentient beings, the eternal truth that transcends time and space. Every person can awaken like the Buddhas of the past. Within each individual lies the seed of Buddhahood. Ananda was deeply moved by the words of the Buddha and asked, "World-honored one, you say that we have lost connection with our own Buddha nature. How then can we re-establish this connection? How can one remain connected to the tree of life like that green leaf?" The Buddha gently said, "The entire meaning of practice lies in this. Through the cultivation of morality, concentration, and wisdom, through a truthful understanding of the 4 noble truths of suffering, origin, cessation, and path, and through a profound realization of dependent origination and emptiness, we gradually erase the defilements clouding the mind and re-establish harmony with our own Buddha nature. It is like wiping the dust off a clear mirror. The mirror inherently reflects all things, but temporarily loses this ability due to the obscuration of dust. Ananda, practice is not about acquiring something new, but about returning to the inherent awakened nature we already possess. Just like when the clouds part and the moon is revealed, the moon has always been there. It was merely temporarily obscured by the clouds. When the clouds of ignorance disperse, the innate moon of wisdom naturally appears. The Buddha arose, gazing at the distant mountains, his eyes penetrating through time and space. "Ananda, I will tell you an even deeper truth. The Buddhas of the past were not merely historical figures. Their wisdom and enlightenment exist right now in every corner of the universe, residing within the heart of every sentient being. The essence of enlightenment is one and indivisible. When a person truly attains enlightenment, he not only becomes a Buddha of the mind, but also integrates harmoniously with all Buddhas of the past, present, and future. It is like countless lamps being lit simultaneously. Although the lamps themselves differ, the light they emit is essentially the same. Each newly lit lamp joins this eternal ocean of light, and this ocean never ceases to exist because of the extinguishing of any single lamp." Ananda was deeply inspired. "Bhagwan, according to your teaching, each of us is inseparably connected with all Buddhas. Our intrinsic nature is no different from that of the Buddha. It is not merely a connection. Ananda, it is essentially non-dual." The Buddha solemnly said, "This is the secret I wish to convey to you through this fallen leaf. In the realm of enlightenment, there is no distinction between I and he, no differentiation between this moment and that moment, no disparity between this place and that place. All is a harmonious, unobstructed unity. Precisely for this reason, I say I am not the first Buddha, because from the perspective of enlightenment, there is no first nor last, only the eternal now, the eternal awareness." A gleam of understanding shone in Ananda's eyes. "Venerable teacher, if I understand correctly, you're saying that every sentient being has the potential to become a Buddha, to awaken just as you have." "Indeed, Ananda." The Buddha affirmed that all sentient beings possess Buddha nature and are capable of attaining Buddhahood. This is not a beautiful wish, but an accurate description of the nature of the universe. Every person, regardless of their current circumstances or the karma they carry, possesses the potential to attain Buddhahood, just as every seed has the possibility of growing into a towering tree. Ananda, you must remember today's conversation. When in the future someone asks about the origin of the Dharma, or when someone doubts the possibility of awakening, you shall tell them what I have said today. The Dharma has no beginning and no end. The seed of awakening exists in everyone's heart. It is like the fallen leaves in a forest, seemingly scattered and withered, yet participating in the great cycle of life. Every fallen leaf returns to the earth, transforming into nourishment that sustains new life. Similarly, the efforts of every practitioner, regardless of success or failure, are never in vain. They continually accumulate merit for future enlightenment and are all part of the universal awakening process. Ananda clasped his hands together and deeply bowed to the Buddha, saying, "World-honored one, your teachings today are like sweet nectar poured upon my head, granting me a completely new understanding of the Dharma. I have always believed that becoming a Buddha is a long and arduous path, requiring cultivation over countless kalpas. Now I understand that attaining Buddhahood is not merely a distant goal, but also the process of returning to one's original true nature. We originally are Buddhas. We have only temporarily forgotten this fact." The Buddha looked kindly at Ananda and said, "Yes, Ananda, the so-called practice is nothing but the process of knowing oneself. When you fully recognize who you are, you naturally become a Buddha. It is like a lost person finding the way home. Returning home is not about gaining something new, but about returning to the place that already belongs to you. Whenever and wherever a single person awakens, they join the ranks of the awakened and become a lamp illuminating the world. The radiance of this lamp is identical and undifferentiated from the light of all the Buddhas of the past. This is why I say I am not the first Buddha, for enlightenment transcends the boundaries of time and individual." The Buddha and Ananda continued to walk through the forest, sunlight filtering through the leaves, casting dappled patterns upon them. A gentle breeze blew by, and a few more leaves drifted down from the tree. Ananda gazed at the slowly falling leaves, a profound and unprecedented insight welling up in his heart. Every leaf has its own story. Every life has its own path, and all these stories and paths ultimately merge into the ocean of eternal awakening. From that day on, whenever Ananda saw falling leaves, he would recall that conversation and contemplate the profound meaning behind the Buddha's words. I am not the first Buddha. He understood that enlightenment is not the exclusive possession of any individual, but an inherent potential present in all sentient beings for birth. What the Buddha did was merely to rekindle the lamp that had long existed, guiding us to rediscover our original face. Later, Ananda often recounted this conversation to other disciples. After hearing this, many people gained a completely new understanding of the Dharma. They no longer regarded the Buddha as a distant, miraculous being, but saw him as a pioneer, a teacher who demonstrated the possibilities that everyone can achieve. This wisdom about fallen leaves has traversed over 2,000 years of time and space, still shining today with the light of prayer. It reminds us that regardless of the circumstances we find ourselves in, and no matter what challenges we face, we have never been separated from our awakened nature. Awakening is not distant on the horizon, but close at hand. It is not a state of a future life, but a possibility in the present moment. In the vast universe, across endless time and space, the torch of enlightenment has never been extinguished. It merely awaits each destined being to ignite the lamp within their own heart. And when our lamp is lit, we are amazed to find that darkness never truly existed. We have never been separated from the light, only temporarily forgetting our original nature. This may be the most precious gift that the Buddha has left us through a single fallen leaf, not only a set of teachings or method of practice, but also an understanding. The realization that each of us has the potential to become a Buddha, to awaken and attain enlightenment, just as the countless Buddhas of the past, ultimately achieving complete liberation. And this possibility is not a distant, unattainable dream, but a lotus quietly blooming in our hearts at this very moment.